tell you that up front. The question, though, in that special report actually overlaps with the top story tonight. The January 6th committee barreling towards those high-stakes, live, prime-time hearings Thursday. News now breaking about how the Secret Service scrambled to find some way that Donald Trump might have joined what we now know was a march that ended in the criminal breach of the Capitol that day. We're also learning that this hearing will feature testimony by the first Capitol officer injured, as well as new video evidence that appears to blow the lid on a secret militia meeting in an underground parking garage. This was on Insurrection Eve.
Stuart, pleasure.
Pleasure's all mine. I'm going to stay close just to make sure my guys are okay.
Okay. And I'm going to
So
shoot
tomorrow. And I got a lot of stuff to do tomorrow.
That's what the meeting looked like. Both of the individuals you see there are now awaiting their trials for sedition, one of the most serious types of conspiracies on the federal books. We've got a lot going on tonight, as I mentioned, so I'm going to get right to it and bring in our special guests on this busy news week, former U.S. Attorney Barbara McQuade and veteran political strategist and former Obama advisor and aide, Jay Komanduri. Barbara, when you look at that kind of video evidence, what does that mean for the committee making the case that not only was this bad for democracy, which people know, but that it was an organized conspiracy?
I think this really debunks any of those arguments that we've been hearing all along, that this was just ordinary tourists or a crowd that got a little bit out of hand and a little overly enthusiastic in their efforts that day. You know, that at least some of these people were carefully coordinating and organizing. And so I think that rings true in the Oath Keepers indictment and now the Proud Boys indictment for seditious conspiracy. I think the next level investigation has to be whether there was someone organizing even above them to provide funding and other kinds of things. And that's what's so important about these hearings, getting to the bottom of those organized efforts.
Barbara, does it matter that the then president told that same group we just showed there, the Proud Boys, to stand by if he lost the election?
I think that there is certainly an argument to be made that that was a call to action. I don't know that that alone is enough to implicate him criminally. I think he would say, I was just exercising my First Amendment rights. But I also think it is something that is terrorism experts refer to as stochastic terrorism, which is I'm going to say something out in the public domain in hopes that somebody picks up on it and acts on it. It's the same way that ISIS radicalizers get people to take up arms in America against Westerners who are not part of the ISIS ideal. It's the same principle. But tying him criminally on that alone is probably not enough. I think you'd want to see more evidence that he was involved in a cleaner organization of this.
Understood, and understood the precise legal point you're making, which goes to the standards there. Someone can say something horrific. It's not something you'd want to hear from a democratically elected leader with regard to a peaceful transfer of power. But as you remind us, that there's a different standard if you're talking about crime.